Greetings everyone. Hope you are doing well. Welcome to Coding with Lone Wolf. From today we'll be starting CSES problem set, and today we'll be starting off from the first 5 problems of the introductory set, which are weird algorithm, missing number, repetitions, increasing array, and permutations. Okay, let's see the weird algorithm. So in here we are given n, and what at each point we are needed to do is, according to the parity, whether n is odd or even, we have to do some operations. So when n is odd, we have to multiply it by 3 and add 1 to it. And if n is even, we have to divide it by 2. And we have to continue this process until n becomes 1, and for each particular process we have to print the value of n. That's it. Like you can see for this example 3, it's an odd integer, so it becomes 3 into 3 plus 1, so it becomes 10. 10 is even, so it becomes 10 by 2. 5 5 is odd, so it becomes 5 into 3 plus 1, 15. Sorry, 16. And 16 is even, so it becomes 16 by 2, 8. 8 is even, so it becomes 8 by 2, 4. 4 is even, so it becomes 4 by 2, 2. And 2 is even, so it becomes 2 by 2 equals to 1. So nothing much, and here is the solution to it. So I have taken the input as n, and until it becomes equal to 1, I'm simply printing it, and check for the next step. I'm checking if the present value, if it's odd, then I'm multiplying it by 3 and adding 1 to it, and if it's even, then I'm simply dividing it by 2, and I'm repeating the process until n is not equal to 1, and when n is equal to 1, I'm simply printing 1 at the end. So yeah, it's accepted. Let's move on to the second one. Missing number. In here we are given n, and also we are provided n minus 1 distinct integers with values from 1 to n, and we are required to find the missing number from those n elements. Like in this case, n is equals to 5, so the numbers from 1 to 5 are 1 2 3 4 5, so all of them must be there, but we are provided n minus 1 integers, 2 3 1 and 5, so the missing number is 4. So what we can basically do is, we can take the sum of first n natural numbers, which is basically n into n plus 1 by 2, and also we can at the same point take the sum of all the n minus 1 integers which are given to us. And then what we can basically do is, from the total sum of first n integers, we shall subtract the sum of the integers that are given to us, and that would simply provide us with the answer. Like in this one, sum of first 5 natural numbers is 15, and sum of the numbers which are given to us is 2 plus 3 5 plus 1 6 plus 5 11. 16 minus 11 becomes 4. So it's the normal one, and so this only I have done the code. I have taken the sum of first 10 natural numbers, taken the sum of all the n minus 1 integers provided to me, and then just took their difference, and it's accepted, as you can see. Let's move on to the third one, which is repetitions. So we are given a string consisting of characters A, C, G, T. Our task is to find the longest repeating in the sequence. That is, here the sequence definition of sequence is basically changed a bit. So in this one they are basically asking the maximum length substring containing only one type of character. So maximum length substring containing only one type of character, like in this one we can see that G is occurring 3 times, and so this substring is the largest one, having only a single character. So what we can do is, basically, let me show you the code. So for each starting point, I am moving forward until there is only same character. So for suppose, as at each I am starting the value of j up till I to I, and then I'm moving forward until s at j is equals to s at I, and moving my j forward. So j will stop at a point where it is no longer equal to s at I, and I will update my answer with the difference between j and I. Now, because we need to start from a new point, otherwise it will be O of n square time complexity. So, and also we are not required to process the same ith character again. Hence, what we are doing is we are updating I with the previous value of j minus 1, and in the next iteration what it will basically do is it will increment I, and we will be starting from the new set of substring, and at the end what I will basically do is print my answer. So I think so I should explain this via the example. So let's see, here I is equals to 0 and j starts from a. J ends at t because it's no longer equal to a, and j minus I is equals to 1. So answer's value becomes 1. Because answer's previous value was 0, so it's updated to 1. Now I becomes equals to j minus 1. J's value is 1 and I becomes j minus 1, that is equals to 0. Now in the next iteration I becomes 1. J starts from 1 and ends at 1, 2, 3, where it's no longer equal to the ith character. So j minus I, which is 3 minus 1, equal to 2. Now answer's value is 1, and the current value of substring having only one character is 2. So answer is updated to 2. Now my ith value is updated to 3, which is the which is at in where C is present. Now in this iteration J starts from the third index. J starts from the third index, and we will basically check up till that point where it's no longer equal to C. So J will increase and J will now become equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. J will become equal to 4 and j minus I. So j 4 minus 3 equals to 1. Now answer wouldn't be required to be updated as answer's original value was 2 and we are getting j minus I as 1. So answer is greater. We don't need to upgrade that. Now I becomes equals to j minus 1, that is 3, and I is incremented in the upper part of the iteration, upper part of the loop, and so I becomes equals to 4. Now j goes up till the last point because at last point only it doesn't becomes equal to g. It stops becoming equal to g. Now the value of j minus I is equals to 3 and answer is 2. Hence we update our answer, and yeah, and at the end answer would be containing the longest substring having a single character. Hence, we would be returning answer at the end. This was repetitions, and it's a fairly easy algorithm, nothing harder, and just a two-pointer algorithm. One can basically do that. Let's move on to the next one. So increasing array. You are given an array of n integers. You want to modify the array so that it is increasing. That is, every element is at least as large as the previous element. On each move, you may increase the value of any element by 1. What is the minimum number of moves required? Okay, so in here as we can see, 3 is greater than 2. So what we must at least do is we must make 2 at least equal to 3 so that it in the property of increasing array is satisfied. So we would require one move here, then we move to 5, and after converting 2 to 3, now at this point it's 3, and 5 is originally greater than 3, so we don't need to do anything. Next we move on to 1, as 1 is smaller than 5, so we must make it at least equal to 5 so that the property of increasing array is still satisfied. So we are required 4 moves. So 4 moves plus 1 move, 5 moves up till this point. Now we move on to 7. 7 is already greater than 5, which is converted from 1 in the last step, and so at the end we are having our answer as 5 moves, which are minimum required to make it as an increasing array. Let's move on to the code. Now nothing much was required to be done in this one. If n is equals to 1, that means there is only single element in the array. Then the array is already an increasing array, so we require 0 moves. Next, we move from the first element and check if ith element is smaller than the previous element, that is I minus 1th element. Then we will require v at I minus 1 minus v at I moves. We will require their difference number of moves to make the ith element at least equal to the I minus 1th element. And then I am basically updating the ith element with the I minus 1th element value. And finally I am returning my answer. So as you can see, it's accepted. Let's move on to the last question of today. We are given a permutation of 1 to n numbers, and it's called beautiful if there are no adjacent elements whose difference is 1. So we are given n and we must construct a beautiful permutation if such a permutation exists. So as you can see, if n is equals to 5, so 4, 2, 5, 3, 1. So no two adjacent elements must have an absolute difference of 1. That is the scenario. And in when n is equals to 3, so what the number of permutations are, let's see in the whiteboard. The number of permutations are 6, and let's see why that doesn't give a solution. So for 3 we have 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 2, 1, 3, then 2, 3, 1, then we are having 3, 1, 2. Apologies for my drawing, it's quite bad. So in these all 6 permutations, we are not having even one permutation which is having two adjacent elements which are not having the difference of 1. In every permutation, as you see, there would be at least a pair of adjacent elements which are having difference equals to 1. Hence, for 3, we are specifically saying that no particular solution is possible. So let's move on to the solution and see. So what I have done is basically for n is equals to 1, nothing much, just print 1. If n is less than or equals to 3, so there is no solution, because even if there are two elements, so 1, 2 and 2, 1 are the only two permutations present, and we won't be able to, because they are adjacent elements having a difference of 1. So no solution is there exists. So after that, solution always exists, and what I have done is I have first printed all the even elements, and then up till n of course, and then I have printed all the odd elements. So there won't remain a case where you will find two adjacent elements having a difference of 1. Let me show that with the value of n equals to 4. So n is equals to 4, and what I am doing is I am first printing keeping all the even elements, as you can see. So 2, 4, and then I am printing all the odd elements 1, 3. So as you can see, the minimum value which is greater than 3, which is equals to 4, and that also is having a difference of 3 between the first element from which is the last from the even list and first element from the odd list. The difference is equals to 3. Hence in the further cases, n is equals to 5, n is equals to 6, n is equals to 7, the difference will be larger. Hence, we can say that this is a fairly correct approach. So I have implemented that, and it's accepted for every scenario, as we can see, and we have proved that also as well. So these are the first 5 problems, and in the further videos we'll continue solving the next ones. Right now I will be completing the introductory problems, then sorting and searching, and we'll go in the sequential manner. Also, apart from these, I would also be solving code forces and lead code contests on a regular basis. Do comment down below what else do you expect from the channel, and till then, keep coding. Thank you very much.